Hello Year 6s, and how are you? Yes, it is that time again. Here we are for another problem of the week. In this lesson we're going to carry on with our work on ratios. We've been doing some great work on ratios, thinking about what they are, how you write them, how you think about them, how you talk about them. Last week we did some calculations involving ratios, and today we're going to look at some classic ratios problems and think about how you can tackle those. So let's get started. What can you see here? Well, it's a recipe to make Whipple-Scrumptious Fudgemallow Delight, my favourite breakfast item. So we've got the ingredients there, the ingredients for 4 people, 60 grams dark chocolate, 1 chocolate bar, 60 grams of butter, 80 grams of dark brown sugar, 150 milliliters of double cream, and 8 marshmallows. Now, I did talk in a previous lesson about how recipes are all about ratios. They're full of ratios. But can you see for yourself how this recipe or any recipe is full of ratios? What ratios can you spot? I've got a few examples. You could say for every 4 people, you need 1 chocolate bar. Or for every 60 grams of butter, there are 150 milliliters of double cream, and so on. Can you see that? So recipes all about ratios. So a classic ratio problem is adapting a recipe, being given a recipe and then having to change the ingredients for a different number of people maybe, or for a different amount of an ingredient. So how do we think about this? There are different ways of approaching these kinds of problems. I like to create a ratio from what I know in both the original recipe and then the new recipe, the new adapted version. I'm looking for the same thing that I know in both the original recipe and the new recipe. I find my ratio from that. Let's look at this question. You want to make enough sauce for 8 people. How much butter would you need? Let's write our answer, leaving a gap for the number itself. You need some grams of butter. Now remember, we create our ratio by finding something we know in both the original recipe and then the new recipe. And it's the same thing. You're comparing the same thing. So what do we know in both versions? We've got 4 people in the original recipe, and then there's going to be 8 people served in the new version. So now I'm going to put that in bar model form. Can you imagine what that would look like? How would you do it? Well, 4 people in the original recipe and 8 people in the new recipe. So here's our ratio, and our ratio is telling us for every 4 parts of something in the original recipe, we need 8 parts in the new recipe, in the new version. And what's important to realize is that goes for everything in our recipe, not just people. Every single thing has this relationship to keep the balance right. So we could go and we could work with that, but we can simplify this ratio. And we looked at simplifying ratios before. So how could we simplify this? Can you see a fewer number of equal parts that we could express this ratio as? Well, it's 1 to 2. So for every 1 part of something in the original recipe, we need 2 parts in the new version. So that is our ratio now in bar model form. So let's put in our question mark because we're looking for how much butter we need in the new version, in the new recipe. Yeah, for 8 people. So we want to know what that is. Now we're looking at butter. We're comparing butter. So the amount of butter in the original recipe, what would we do with that? It goes there. So 60 grams of butter are used in the original recipe. So what's our next step? Equal parts. So every part is worth 60 grams. Isn't that right? So we need to do the calculation of 60 grams times 2, which is, well, 6 times 2 is 12. So 60 times 2 is 120 grams. And we write our answer in. You need 120 grams of butter. Good so far? Now, we could do this a different way, not with the bar model, so have a look at this different approach. Same question, same problem. What's going on here and which method maybe do I prefer? And you can try both methods out when you're doing your own calculations and make up your mind which method you prefer and why. So let's see. We'll write our answer again, leaving the gap. So this time it's original recipe to new recipe. We're just working with numbers in this method. So original recipe, new recipe. Same idea as before. What do we know in both the original and new version? Well, it's still people. 4 people in the original recipe, 8 in the new recipe, so 4 to 8. Now again, simplifying ratios. How do we do it? How do we think about it? We look for a common factor, ideally the highest common factor of our two parts. So what's the highest common factor of 4 and 8? What's the highest number that divides in exactly to 4 and 8? Yes, it's 4. So we divide both parts by 4, getting 1 to 2. So again, using our language of ratios, for every one part of something in the original recipe, we need 2 parts in the new recipe. And what does that make you think of? Doubling. So to convert amounts from the original recipe to the new recipe, you just double. That's what the ratio is telling you to do, doubling. So looking at the butter, we've got 60 grams in the original recipe and we're doubling that. Isn't that right? So again, 60 grams times 2 gets us 120 grams. And we write that in. Let's look at a different question, but about the same recipe. So this time, if you only use 30 grams of dark chocolate, how much sugar will you use? Writing our answer, leaving a gap for the number itself, I will use how many grams of sugar. Okay, back to the bar model version. So original recipe compared with new recipe. And we're looking for the same thing that we know in both. Comparing the same thing, that's important. So what do we know in the old and the new? Well, this time it's dark chocolate. Isn't that right? So in the original version, it's 60 grams of dark chocolate. In the new version, it's 30 grams. That gives us our ratio, 60 grams to 30 grams. Now, when it comes to drawing the bar model, we do have a bit of a problem here. Can you identify the problem with this situation? The problem is the numbers are really big and we're working with equal parts. So we would need to draw 60 boxes along there and then 30 of the same size along there. And that's just not practical. It's not efficient. So that is a problem with bar models when the numbers are very big and it's equal parts that we're looking at. So to use the bar model here, you would actually have to do some simplifying first. Otherwise, it's pointless. And you can simplify comparing 60 to 30. You could see, 6 to 3. So you could draw 6 boxes along there and 3 along there of the same size. But 6 to 3 simplifies even further. It simplifies to 2 to 1. So that would be our ratio in the simplest form. Let's put in then what we're looking for. It's the sugar in the new recipe, isn't that right? And we're working with sugar. So what do we know about sugar in the original recipe? We use 80 grams altogether. So now looking at our bar model, what calculation is jumping out at you? I hope you can see it. 80 grams is being shared out equally among 2 equal parts, which gives us the calculation 80 divided by 2, which is 40. So what goes here then? Well, each part is worth 40 grams, so that's worth 40 grams. And then we write our answer. I will use 40 grams of sugar. So there we go, that's using the bar model, but with those limitations, those difficulties with the large numbers. Now, if you were doing the version with just numbers, what's the ratio? It's 2 to 1, comparing the original recipe with the new recipe, 2 to 1. So for every 2 parts of something in the original recipe, we have only 1 part in the new recipe, 2 to 1. So what does that make you think of? Remember, 1 to 2 made you think of doubling. 2 to 1, is halving. So to find any amount in the new version, you just halve the original amount. So very quickly, how many marshmallows would we need in the new version? Just 4. Half of 8 is 4. 4 marshmallows in the new recipe. And so on. You could just have everything. And how many people would we be serving? 2 people. Does that all make sense? On to a new kind of ratio problem. Another very common one is a value for money question. So you'll be shown maybe 2 offers from 2 different shops, the same kind of product. The question is, which offer is the best? Which is the best value for money? Words to that effect. So here you can see 2 offers from 2 different cafes. It's the same kind of sundae. In one they call it the Fruit Delight and they're offering 2 for £3.20. Mmm. Next door they call it the Tooth Rotter and they're offering 3 for £4.50. So the question is, which is better value? Maybe before we think about that question, we think about this question. Why is this a ratio question? Where are the ratios here? So what do you think about that? Can you identify the ratios? And as always, thinking about our language for ratios, which you may have to adapt here. But if you can use that language, we're talking about ratios. So how do you know this is a ratio question? Well, you can say for every 2 Fruit Delights I buy, I pay £3.20. For every 3 Tooth Rotters I buy, I pay £4.50. Do you see what I mean there? So these are ratio questions. And the final question will almost always be which is better value. So let's have a think here. Fruit Delight, Tooth Rotter, which offers better value for money? It's not which one would you buy, which one do you prefer? It's which is better value for money. So how would you think about that? How would you answer it? I'm going to show you my method now in a moment. Are you ready? So there's our answer ready. And I really, really, really recommend you always do this with a problem so you don't lose sight of what you're being asked to work out. So how can we think about this and answer the question? It's hard to compare the prices right now and really know which offers best value for money. I can see different prices, £3.20. That's less than £4.50, but that's only for 2 sundaes. Whereas £4.50 is for 3, so which is best value? The key is finding the price of one item for each. So that's how we're going to think about it, and I'm going to use the bar model. Looking at the Fruit Delight first, 2 for £3.20. How would you show that in the bar model? I would do it like this. 2 equal parts, 2 Fruit Delights, and we're looking for the price of 1. So my question mark goes there. That's what I want to work out. What do I know? Well, I know the total cost for 2 is £3.20, so put that in. Hopefully a calculation is jumping out at you, but let's go over and look at the Tooth Rotter. In a bar model, what would that look like? 3 equal parts, and we're looking for the price for one of those parts, one of those Tooth Rotters. Let's put in what we know. We know the total cost for all 3 is £4.50. Again, what's the calculation that jumps out at you? So for the Fruit Delight, how do we find the cost of one part of one Fruit Delight? Well, £3.20 being split into 2 equal parts. So that's £3.20 divided by 2. How would you do that? I would do that mentally. I know that half of 32 is 16. So half of 320 is 160. So that's £1.60. Isn't that right? So one Fruit Delight is £1.60, and we put that into our bar model. Always put in what you know. Going over to the Tooth Rotter, what's the calculation? It's £4.50 divided by 3. The whole's being split up into 3 equal parts. So how would you do that? Again, I would do that mentally. For me, it's most efficient, but you should choose an efficient method for you. I know that 3 lots of 15 make 45. So 45 divided by 3 is 15. So 450 divided by 3 is 150. And then that's £1.50 in pounds and pence, isn't that right? So each part, each Tooth Rotter is £1.50. So now we compare which is better value. It's the tooth rotter. £1.50 for one against £1.60 for one for the fruit delight. So write that in. The tooth rotter is better value. So there we go. 2 classic ratio problems and how you might think about them. So now let's put our understanding to the test. Some problems here to think about. Recipe problem, value for money problem. And 2 trickier problems for you to get your teeth into. Bit of a food theme in this lesson, isn't there? I was wondering why I was feeling so hungry. Flapjacks. Answers coming up. Here we go. I hope it's all clear. I was kind of running out of space for the first one, so I used these abbreviations. But hopefully that's clear. Some calculations and answers there. I hope you agree with all that. And some answers to the reasoning problems. So there you go, ratio problems and how to solve them. Well, I'm off now for a delicious breakfast of Whipple-Scrumptious Fudgemallow delight. If you want to make your own version, I will leave a link to the recipe in the description below. In the meantime, take care and don't forget to brush your teeth.